All right, Nico, can you say, welcome to another episode of Healthy Births, Happy Babies?
It's a happy episode. Happy babies.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Healthy Births, Happy Babies. As always, I am your host, Dr. Jay Warren, and before I get into the topic that I'm going to be talking about today, which is self-care for dads, which I'm really excited about bringing to you, I also wanted to just take a moment to thank all of you listeners. At the time of this podcast recording, I'm bumping up against the 3-year anniversary of the show. It's been 3 years that I've been putting out episodes, over 120 episodes now, and we're about to reach a major milestone. Again, we're probably only a week or two away from it at the time of this recording, which is the right before the 3rd anniversary of the show, and that is we're about to hit 500,000 downloads. 500,000 downloads just in a couple weeks I'm going to reach. And I never thought there was going to be this kind of response to this podcast when I started a number of years ago. I really wanted to just archive all this great information of the people I work with here. And then as it's ballooned out, people from all over the world have been able to listen. And I just appreciate you for being here. I appreciate the ratings and reviews that all of you listeners have been sending in. That's been really helpful for me, getting feedback, but mainly it's a great place where new listeners scrolling through and looking for other podcasts to help them with their pregnancy or their birth or with postpartum or with babies, they see all these great reviews, and then they're more likely to become a subscriber and a listener themselves because they see what you're getting out of it and the great reviews that are there. So thank you for doing that. If you haven't done so and you feel so inclined, I'd love to have your reviews in there as well because it's always helpful. And again, thank you for all the listens, and I'm really excited about 500,000 downloads coming up. But today, the topic, as I mentioned, is going to be self-care for dads. And this is a topic I've been doing a lot more episodes just in the last few around dadhood and giving dads some support. And as you know, I've started another podcast called the Dadhood Journey, specifically for dads to support new dads in their journey of things. As I go through it too, I want to be able to support them. But on this podcast, the previous episodes have been around how to support your partner during pregnancy. There's another episode that I did how to support your partner in postpartum. But now I'm going to do an episode on how to support yourself. So this one's for the dads and for the partners, as the case might be. So in the healthy pregnancy, healthy birth, healthy parenting world, self-care for moms is a really hot topic. There's a lot of information, a lot of resources now available for new moms to be able to get the support that they need. It's a huge transition, and a lot of women feel overwhelmed by it, either because of physical challenges, either from the pregnancy and the birth that is making the postpartum even harder, which is making parenting that much harder, or just in the life change of becoming a mom. There's so much overwhelm that women typically will at first isolate and think that they're the only ones having a problem, and they don't want to let anybody know that they're having a challenge being a mom. But if they're pointed in the right direction, those moms can get the support they need, either physical healing for things that have happened with the birth or postpartum, or emotional support. To know that they're not alone and to get resources and tips and tools to make parenting more fun and easier. And that's all coming from a place of, instead of neglecting themselves and being kind of last on the list and everything focusing on the baby, that in a self-care sense, you put yourself maybe not first, but higher on the priority list, so you yourself are full. And that's going to help moms be better moms, and the whole family is going to be healthier. And I have to say, like, dads do the same thing. I mean, I know I've done it as a dad, and I know a lot of the dads that I talk to are feeling the same way, that there's such a focus on the new family and on the baby which is necessary in the first time, of course, that dads are neglecting themselves and feeling neglected and feeling overwhelmed, but there isn't really that much support out there for dads in the same way that there are for moms. Now, I know this because I was looking for it as a new dad years ago when my son was born. There's lots of mama and me yoga classes and meetups and things like that, but there just weren't a lot for dads. And, I talk about this in my new podcast that I've come out with called the Dadhood Journey. I'm using it as a way of supporting new dads to kind of give them a lay of the land of either stuff I've gone through or other dads have gone through, and I can share that information so they're not feeling alone, and creating a community of support so dads can support dads through this fun journey rather than having me in a stressful journey. But as far as self-care is concerned, I'm going to speak directly about that in the four main dimensions of life and little things that you can do each and every day, or at the very least week by week, to make deposits in each one of those dimensions of life so that they don't become so depleted and red flags are coming up all the time because you're neglecting one of those areas of your life, of your health, so that then more crisis time can come about, whether it's physical crisis or an emotional crisis, because you're just done. Either the body shuts down because you're not paying attention to it and keeping it healthy, or your mental emotional state shuts down because you're not keeping it healthy. So I'm going to go through a list of things in the four main dimensions, and I'll have a lot of resources in the show notes as well. So the four main dimensions that all of us have in life is your physical health, your spiritual connection, your family and relationships, and your work life. And in the way that I conceptualize it now, the four dimensions are body, being, balance, and business. It's the same thing. Body is physical health, being is your spiritual dimension, balance is your family and other relationships, now your kiddos, and then business is your work life. Whether you're an entrepreneur and you own your own business, or you're an employee and you have a job, you're still needing to do things on a day-to-day basis to be, one, happy in it, and for it to progressing and growing. These four dimensions, body, being, balance, and business, is not my construct. This is all information I've learned by being a part of the Men of Iron I've talked about in the past. There's a link in the show notes to learn more about this structure if you want to go into it deeper. But Men of Iron is fueled by Warrior, which was come up with Garrett J. White. And these four dimensions just are a simple way of looking at it. And we'll go into each one of them. So in your physical health or your body, the way that I think about it is daily, on a daily basis, you want to be fueling your body and doing fitness. So we talk about body being fuel and fitness. And this isn't going to be a nutritional lesson. It's not going to be an exercise program recommendation. It's more of you need to move your body and put good stuff into it. In dadhood, it's very easy to shelve the workouts that you may be used to doing, or if you were thinking you were going to be doing it, then in parenthood, that is the easiest thing to get off the schedule. But it's really important to keep our physical bodies healthy. In a self-care sense, it burns off stress. Being able to get and move, whether you're doing weights or doing cardio or whatever, it's a way of de-stressing. It'll help your body just feel better and your mind feel better. So it's really important every day to move your body. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be in the gym or doing an hour-long workout or more like you may be used to, especially in the new parenthood world, but you need to move and get a sweat going every day. So whether that's simple like push-ups and sit-ups and air squats, pull-ups, something like that, just at home to do a quick burst, get things moving, or stretching. Stretching is something we absolutely need to do as dads and as parents, because if you have a newborn right now, soon that baby's going to be crawling and walking, and for the next couple of years, you're going to be playing a lot on the floor. And if you're tight, it makes playtime a lot more challenging. So stretch now, Dad, so that you'll be able to play on the floor with your kiddo as long as possible, rather than you having to be that one that kind of like, okay, I'm all done, and kind of walking up your legs and creeping out of it because your body's too tight. So that's a fitness part of things in a self-care sense. And fuel is your nutrition. Now, of course, there's lots of things that you can learn about as far as, what foods are the right ones and which ones are the wrong ones, and stop eating those and start eating the good ones. But basically, in a fuel sense, you just need to put good stuff in. And I'm much more of a kind of a crowding philosophy of rather than trying to focus on what you should stop eating, like chips or cookies or sweets or alcohol or whatever it might be. It's more, I like focusing on like, all right, let me add something in, and that could be a smoothie. It could be vitamins that you're not usually taking. Drinking water is really important. Like even if you're trying to like cut out other bad foods, instead of focusing on that, drinking more water tends to, fill you up. It tends to curb a lot of those cravings. That can make a huge difference. So putting fuel into your body, good foods, good nutrition, will give you more energy. There's a lot of energy demands as a dad. I know you know this. And, sleep gets in the way of things. If you're a newborn world, the intermittent sleep can be devastatingly hard. But if you're fueling yourself well, it'll help balance that and help you sustain through that, rather than it being something where not only you're not getting the sleep you need because you're in a newborn world, but also you're not fueling yourself well. And so the body's just not going to be able to function as well. So in your body and your physical health, think of fuel and fitness. Move your body every day. Fuel yourself well by adding in green smoothies, some sort of nutritional, like a supplement of some kind, of multivitamin, add a salad in, add some water in, just anything you can do to get some more fitness in or fuel in there that's healthy. And that will start building on itself and snowballing where you're eating healthier and healthier. The next dimension is being, or the spiritual dimension. And the way that I look at this is your connection with spirit, with God, with the creator, with source, however you conceptualize it. And within being, we talk about it doing on a daily basis your meditation and memoirs. So meditation can be prayer as well. It's just a time where you're silent and quiet for at least a few minutes out of the day. It's if I've heard about meditation or prayer, it might seem, or meditation more so, I'd say, is like you need to meditate 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day. And sometimes we just do not have that amount of time. Prayer time, at least is from what I've been told about people that use prayer time there, it tends to be quicker. And so using that as well in a meditation, just your silence of being quiet, even for just a couple of minutes, maybe just even 5 minutes, will help slow yourself down out of the go of parenthood, where it's like you're being woken up by the baby or by your kid, and then all of a sudden you're just like, boom. Get the kid dressed, get the kid fed, get them off to school if they're school age, get them changed, whatever it might be. It just seems like the day can spiral into just taking care of the kiddo, or taking care of kiddo, getting him out of the house to school, and then you going right to work, and then being in work life, and then coming home and doing errands and getting the kid to sleep, all those kind of things. There isn't any silent time. So in the meditation or prayer time, just slow things down. And again, this isn't a meditation lesson or a prayer lesson, but it doesn't have to be you stopping your thoughts or having this like huge epiphany from it. It's just a matter of slowing down, allowing your thoughts to go across your mind, let them go. This is a time for you just to breathe in and out and not do anything, but just to be silent and connect with something bigger than your to-do schedule, and something bigger than the laundry list, and something bigger than the work list that you have to do. And the second part of being is memoirs. So if you have that silent time and you are able to connect in that silence, you might get some messages. You might get some reflections that, in a memoir sense, you pull out a journal and you make some notes around what you got out of it. It might be just, wow, I had 5 minutes to myself and I could not slow my mind down. Or, wow, that 5 minutes was really helpful. I really need to make sure that I do this day in, day out. Or you might get some other clarity about how to solve something going on in the family, solve something going on at work, or whatever it might be. It's in that silence that you get those messages and you get some revelations. So in the memoir sense of being, put those things down. And in being, the spiritual dimension, this is something on a day-in-day basis you can do to get into the bigger picture part of life rather than the hyper-focus of get through this morning, get through this afternoon, get through this evening, let's just get to tomorrow. And then tomorrow becomes, let's just get to the end of the week, and then let's just get to the weekend. And then once the weekend comes, they're like, all right, let me just get to Monday. And it becomes this hyper-focus time where we need to get back into the bigger picture of, all right, what do I want for my family? What do I want for my kids as they grow up? Like, what do I want to teach them? Who do I want to be for them? What do I want out of my business, out of my work life? What do I want out of this experience? Rather than putting your head down once baby comes around and then all of a sudden they're in high school and you're like, whoa, where did all these years go? And you've missed kind of a bigger picture of things. And I know for me, every 90 days, that's in my environment, we do like 90-day target sets. I choose a book that I read that has nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with health. It doesn't have anything to do with parenting necessarily. It's more of a big picture thing, whether it's scripture for you or whether it's some other self-help or something that resonates with just being a better person. I highly encourage that to be something that even a couple minutes before you go to sleep, that's the stuff you put in your brain and in your mind before you go to sleep time rather than, Netflix or scrolling around on the phone. So that's the being part of self-care. The next part is balance, and that's your family and relationships. And the way that we break it down is in the twofold is your partner and posterity. Posterity being your kids, right? So in this part of self-care and paying attention to your balance, it's putting deposits into that relationship, meaning you're, saying words of affirmation or doing nice things for your partner, you're spending quality time with your kids. And that might seem different than self-care because it's not about yourself, but you as a dad and as a father, you are filling yourself up by giving to your partner and giving to your kids there. And all too often in life, we get lost in the doings of things, whether it's like the work stuff, whether it's the errands stuff of just making sure there's enough toilet paper in the house or do the grocery shopping or making sure all this stuff gets scheduled for school for the kids, or it spins out of control. And so if you don't slow down enough on a daily basis, this is absolutely one on the daily basis, to put those deposits in of complimenting your partner on something, or tell them, like, recounting a funny story or something that's different than, I'll make sure I pick this up on the work and send me more stuff on the list if you need more during the day. And the same thing with the kids. I mean, if you have a little infant, you're not going to be able to bond with them and giving them nice messages and the like, but you spend quality time. All kids, I think, are quality time people. They just want to spend time with you, whether that's just playing around for a couple of minutes before you head off to work, or at the end of the day slowing down before you get into the toothbrushing bedtime routine of just spending some quality time there. And if that doesn't happen because of timing of you getting home, and that your quality time investment in your kiddos might be the book reading and the bedtime wind down. It makes a huge difference, not only for your family, because they're feeling it from you that you're giving to them and your time and your energy, but it fills us up as dads because they're our family, and we want to make sure that they're doing well as us too. And as far as your partner is concerned, if you're in pregnancy world, I did an episode on how you can support your partner during the pregnancy. Look at those things. There's tons of ways that you can do that that's going to feed and support her. And then if you're in the immediate postpartum world, like within the first 6 months or so, I did an episode on that about how you as a dad can support your partner and things that will make a huge difference for her as well as for you and for your kiddo. And then outside of that, you're just wanting to do those daily deposits, as I said. The last one is business or work life. And in the Men of Iron, like most of us are our own business owners. You know, me as a chiropractor and podcaster and author, I work for myself, so I'm in charge of that, quote, business. But more and more people coming into the group are not owning their own businesses. They're employees working for, quote, others. But within all of that, it doesn't matter. Work life is a huge part of us. And whether we're trying to advance our business or make it more effective or generate more revenue within a job as well, you want to be doing in a more effective job, getting things done in a more efficient way or a higher quality way, which is then going to lead towards more advancement and raises, all those kind of things. So within business, the way we break it down is discover, declare, or what we used to call study, teach, in that on a daily basis to fuel yourself and to, take care of your business side of you or your work life side, studying something that can improve upon your business or improve upon your job is really important. And again, it could only be just a couple of minutes. Like typically what I'll do is I have another book or another study project of some kind where I'm learning something to enhance my business. And it's not like I'm reading the whole book. I'm just taking not even a chapter sometimes. It's just like a few pages or a page or two where I can study something that I can hopefully implement. And the second part of declare or teach is teaching it to someone else. It might be to somebody at work. You're like, hey, I read this morning. How do you think this could be implemented? Or if you're in your own business, talking with the people that are working for you, or even in a Facebook sense of declaring it in a Facebook Live or something, like teaching it to somebody, or it might even be somebody you're picking up coffee from and you're like, hey, I read this morning, like it might help you too. Because when we teach something to others, we tend to learn it better ourselves. And we tend to teach the things that we need to learn more and more ourselves. And that is definitely true for me doing this episode on self-care for dads, because self-care is a constant challenge for me as well. I am definitely a person that puts a lot of people first, other projects first. I say yes to a lot of things because I want to do and I feel capable and I want to contribute and I want to help. But then if I do all of that and say yes, then all of a sudden I'm feeling more depleted, I'm feeling more resentful, and those are the signs of like, all right, I need to fill myself up. I need to get back to the basics of self-care myself so that I can say yes and give a full yes rather than saying yes and being like, all right, fine, I'll do it. We've all been in those places. And as far as family life and being a dad, what that shows up as is, like, hey, will you run this errand and go pick things up? And you're like, fine, another errand. I'm just like a pack mule and an errand boy, or hey, this needs to get done in the house. Will you do it? And there isn't that saying like, yes, I want to help. I'm like, here, I have the energy. I'm feeling full. I want to give to my family and support them in a really strong way, which you can do if you're taking care of yourself. So in that, where I started this, talking about self-care for moms and moms feeling alone and feeling isolated and not being supported and feeling like, what about me? And feeling there's nothing left for me at the end of the week, end of the day, end of the week, end of the month. Dads do it too. And if you're feeling that way, get back to these basics like fuel and fitness for your body, meditation and memoirs for being, partner and prosperity, that putting deposits into your partner and to your kids for your balance and your family life. And then also discover, declare, or study, teach in your business or work life, however it is. It's those little things if you do it every day. And in Men of Iron, we have a gamified version of it where you get a half point if you do each one of these. And so we're trying to get a 4 in our core 4 every day. And then that's all combined with other structures as far as business and work life of having, 4 keys in a door and all this other like emotional support work that we do. You can learn more about that at my website for Men of Iron. It's drjwarren.com/Men of Iron. But in this sense of keeping an eye on all 4 of those dimensions and putting effort, putting energy into it, doing little things each and every day are what's going to make a change. So it's your physical health, your spiritual health, your family health, and your work-life health. Make sure each one of those is getting a little bit of attention every day. Because if you start neglecting one consistently, that one's going to go into crisis mode and then going to require all of your attention because your physical health is shot. And you need to get that back around to be present for your family, or your relationship shot because you've been working so hard and your wife doesn't even know you anymore, or you're so immersed in your family life that business goes down and then that causes a financial strain. There's a lot of working parts that we all need to take care of as dads, and moms do too as moms, and as parents, we need to work together. But the things that you can do so you're not feeling so isolated and so alone and so what about me, is to do these self-care things. And instead of waiting for somebody else to do them for you, you do them on a day-in-day basis and a week-to-week basis. And you'll be a better dad. You'll be a better person. You'll be a better partner. Everything will click that much better. It's not going to solve everything. It's not, it's a two-way street in life on a lot of these things, but on the part of our side of the street, we can do these self-care measures to be just healthier. And that's going to allow the whole family to be healthier. And the last note that I'll say about these self-care processes for you as a dad is to remember that you doing these things is going to model really well for your kids to do these things. So we talk about this all the time in different like modeling for, little kids is they're watching what you do way more than listening to what you say. So they're watching whether you're doing exercise and they're watching what you eat. And then once they're able to verbalize it, like, well, why can't I have that? Dad eats that all the time. Or looking at how you spend time to connect with spirit, or you talk about things in a big picture sense rather than a hyper-focused sense. And they look at how you treat others in your relationship, and they look at what you're doing in life as far as business and what you're creating in your job and the impact that you're trying to make. Those are the things that kids are really looking at and will want to start copying you. So they're going to copy you no matter what, but really, as a dad and as a parent, you want them copying healthy things, right? So it starts with you. That's the last point I wanted to make, is that by taking care of yourself, yes, you're going to be a happier person, happier man, happier partner, happier in your own family, but you're going to be modeling really well for your kids so that you're not going to have to undo bad habits later on the other side. So in the show notes, you'll see lots of different resources. I'm going to put links to the previous 2 episodes that I did around dad supporting moms in pregnancy, and the other one in dad supporting moms in postpartum. I'll send a link to Men of Iron if you're interested in learning more about these structures, see if that's a thing for you. And then also a link to the new podcast, the Dadhood Journey podcast, different format. It's quick 7 to 8 to 9 minute episodes on specific topics with actionable things, and also a private face group for just dads to be able to get the support that they're wanting and needing. So until next time, we'll connect. Take great care of yourself, take great care of your families, and be well.
Thank you for joining us today. For more information about this episode and other natural childbirth and parenting topics, please visit us at capwellnesscenter.com or message us on our Facebook page with any questions you might have. We here at the CAP Wellness Center look forward to helping you and your family be as happy and healthy as you can be.